Today we're going to be doing the knit below shawl, and we're going to be starting out with a garter tab, and we're going to need some DK weight yarn and a size 9 needle. You'll want to put it on a circular set because you're going to want to have a lot of stitches, and a circular will be able to hold all that for you. You're going to need 4 stitch markers and 2 progress keepers. So the first thing we're going to do is start with a garter tab cast on, and you're going to cast on 5 stitches. And then you're going to knit 10 rows. So we'll do that quickly here. So you can see that you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 garter bumps there, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 garter bumps on each side. And that's a way to kind of tell when you're knitting garter to be able to see how many rows you've done. So now that we have 10 rows, we're going to knit across the top 5 there. And then we're going to insert our left hand needle into these stitches right here that we're going to put in. So you've got these 5 kind of bumps. You can put it into the purl bumps, the ones kind of going like this. You can, if you prefer to put it in these ones, the ones that are kind of going across like that, it's up to you really. Whatever is easier for you to see and grab, then go with that, okay? So you pick those up on your left hand needle, and that just makes it much easier for you to have a consistent edge. And then you just knit them. You knit those 5 stitches, and then you're going to knit 5 stitches across the bottom edge, and you want to look at your V's and see where you have those cast-ons, 3, 4, 5, and you're going to pick those up and stick your needle in underneath those V's. That's 1, 2, 3, there we go, 4, and 5. And your cast on tail, that'll show you, hey, that's where I started, so that's where you're going to end up. And it's going to be this funny looking little blotch of a thing. And here's what it's going to look like. You're going to have 15 stitches, and you're going to have those 5 garter rows in the middle, and then your back is going to have your edge, and you're going to have your edging. Depending on where you picked up along that edging, you may have more here on your wrong side, and you're going to have your cast on edge over here. That's the wrong side of your work, okay? And that is your garter tab. So now we're going to move on to our setup rows, and you're going to need your stitch markers and your progress keepers for this part. And so we're going to need 4 stitch markers, and I just kind of have mine on this little ring. And then I have made a custom stitch marker that is going to help me remember when to do my knit below stitches and this one is going to help me know when to do my yarn overs. So I do have those on my website if you want to grab a pair of those, and that will help you remember, you know, which side is which and what you're going to do. So the first row, our setup row, we're going to knit the first 5, and this is our wrong side. We're going to place one of our stitch markers here, yarn over, knit 2, yarn over. We're going to place another stitch marker to define our center stitch. Do another place marker, yarn over, knit 2, yarn over, place our marker, our last one, and knit the final 5. Those 5 are always going to be garter on your edge, and that's what's going to give you that edging. And let me show you here in this picture here, this edging, that's your garter tab. That's always going to be there, and that's going to end up being the top edge of your shawl. So it will always be there. It will always have that garter. So row 2 is just a knit row, and we're going to slip our markers as we come to them. You can use any kind of markers you want. I like all the pretty dangly ones. And that row, when you're knitting, that's your right side row. So now we're going to be doing, and this is your wrong side rows are always going to be your yarn over rows. And so now that we've got a little bit of room to attach, I'm going to put my progress keeper here to remind me that these wrong side rows are always going to be my yarn over rows. So we're going to knit 5, yarn over, knit marker, yarn over, knit that middle stitch, yarn over, knit marker, yarn over, and knit the last 5. I know it's got a lot of progress keepers and things all jostling about right now, but as it grows, it'll get easier and it won't be so jangly. And then this row here, our wrong side rows, or I'm sorry, our right side rows are always going to be our knit below. So here's where we're going to start doing our first knit below row. You're going to knit 5, slip the marker, knit 1, and then you're going to knit 1 below. So you're not going to knit into this stitch, you're going to knit into the stitch below, right through the center. And you're going to just knit it like normal, pull it through, and drop both of them. It's going to give you this long loop, and that's going to feel really weird at first, but that's normal. That's what you want. You're going to knit 1 below, right into the stitch, the center of the stitch below. Just go right through there, knit it like normal, pull through, and let that other one just drop. It's going to give you that long loop. Then you're going to knit 2, slip your marker, knit 1. Oh, my marker went on the other side. That happens sometimes. It gets caught underneath. Just slip it back through if you can. If not, take it off. Put it back where it belongs. It's the only thing with yarn overs next to markers. So you'll slip your marker, knit 1, slip your next marker, knit 2, knit 1 below, not this one, right underneath, take it through, drop them both. Perfect. So knit 1 below, knit 1, knit 1 below, knit 1, that'll be your yarn over from the previous, slip marker, and knit your 5 edge stitches. Okay, so that's our first knit below row. Okay, so now this next row is going to be our yarn over row again, and we're going to be knitting across, but we're going to be fixing, I guess, those long loops that we created from the previous row when we knit below. So we're going to knit our 5 edge stitches, yarn over, knit 1, and then you can see this loop, right? You can tell that it's got an extra little something here, and that's the one that we dropped. So you're going to pick up the extra loop, okay? And you can tell it's not really attached to anything. This one is attached, okay? So you'll be able to tell which loop it is, because this one here is, you know, it's part of your project. It's already, you know, attached to something, but this one is just kind of like hanging around. It's just hanging loose. So that's the one that you're going to want to pick up. That one and your stitch, and you're going to just knit them together like normal. Go through that long loop, and that's what you're going to want. So the next one is a normal stitch. You're going to find the long loop. There it is. Knit it together. The next 2 are going to be normal, yarn over, slip your marker, knit 1, slip the marker, yarn over, and then you've got 2, before you have your long loop, okay? And sometimes it's not super obvious. So if you miss it, you can work back. Like, let's say I forgot to pick it up and I remember, oh no, I'm supposed to be picking up. You can work backwards and always come back, pick it up, work it with your stitch, and knit it. Knit them both. Okay, let me show you that long loop again. There it is. It should be pretty easy to identify once you're going. And every other stitch normally on your needles, once you get the main body going, is going to be one of those stitches. Yarn over and our edge. Okay. So now we're back to our knit below, knit 1 below. And these next 2 rows, let me get to the right page of my pattern here. These next 2 rows are going to really form the body of the rest of the shawl. Knit 5, slip your marker, knit 1, knit one below. We're going to go into the stitch below our one that's already on the needle. Knit one below. Knit one below. And that's 2 before, so we're going to knit 2. I'm going to slip our marker, knit. My marker keeps going through my yarn over there. That's one of the hazards of these types of stitch markers, I guess. So you use what you like best, but remember that your spine is always going to have just that one stitch by itself. You're going to knit 2, and then you're going to knit 1 below. And you can tell that I kind of like, you know, push my work open so I can see where that hole is when I'm knitting. So you're not going to want to go here, you're going to go 1 down. So I kind of put my finger there so I can identify it where it's at. Knit 1 below, knit 1, knit 1 below, knit 1. Slip that marker and knit your 5 edge stitches. Okay. Then we're doing our yarn overs on this one and knitting across, knitting the long loops as well. Five edge, yarn over. We're going to knit and then knit the long loop and the next stitch together. Knit, knit the long loop and the next stitch together. Knit, 1 more long loop, two stitches, yarn over, knit, yarn over, 2 stitches, there's the long loop, pick it up along with the stitch and knit them together as one. Knit, long loop, next stitch together as one, knit, 1 more long loop, knit, yarn over, and your 5 edge stitches. And that is going to give you what we are looking for in this shawl. And you can see that it is starting to make the V's. It's going to give you these long V's that almost have a stitch underneath. You can kind of see there's like almost like a layered effect. Let me pull this way. So here's where we started with our garter tab, right? We made this little garter tab that's now becoming the edge, the top edge of our shawl. So really it's going to be like this. Sorry for the noise of the of the needles. They're just all over the place. It's the top edge of the shawl, and it's going to grow. So this is going to keep continuing out sideways all the way. That's going to end up being one of your edges. And this is going to end up being your middle. And then each back. So you'll have this row here and you'll think, oh no, I did something wrong. But don't worry, because you're about to knit those and do your knit belows in that. So your V's, so you're looking at it like this, but it'll actually end up being a shawl like this and go this way. So I hope that has helped you. If you have any questions, leave a comment in the video. You can get these custom hand stamped stitch markers to remind you of which side you're on and what to do on that side. And I also have other sets of handmade stitch markers as well, and several other patterns as well that you can purchase and download. So I hope this has been helpful, and thank you so much for watching.